Oh, I'm sorry. Were you eliminated from your fantasy football playoffs this week because you started Bhayshul Tuten? Well, I was, and it was a dastardly mistake, but also a quick reminder that the fantasy community is full of creators and quote-unquote fantasy specialists that do nothing but crunch very specific yet not so relevant analytics and cherry-pick those stats to spin them into narratives without any context clues, film watching, or common sense to draw conclusions about players that really have no foundation or merit whatsoever. This isn't to say these are bad people or they don't have good intentions in the work they do, but the fantasy community gets the rap it has for a reason. There was a disgusting amount of these guys pushing the Bhayshul Tuten agenda. Start Bhayshul, start Bhayshul. Everywhere I looked, Bhayshul Tuten was going off in week 12 apparently. Now these guys don't set the lineups, I ultimately make the decision, but this is not the first time this year alone that something like this has happened. Where do you think the Bill Krosky merit hype derived from? There was no merit to that hype really at all. Charles Chill FFB, he basically puts Cam Ward in the same conversation of Shadur and McCarthy, which is way off base. Someone in his reply says someone isn't watching the Titans, and his response was, why would I? I'll check the passing/drop pack efficiency data after the game. Like, shut up. Scott Barrett, one of the biggest fantasy guys on Twitter, quotes it and says, Scott Connor just set us back a decade. Then just a couple hours later, Scott Barrett himself turns around and tweets something completely clueless in his own right. He says that apparently Marvin Harrison Jr. was soft-benched for Michael Wilson because Scott Barrett knows how long appendicitis truly takes to recover from and how well Marvin's recovery went, right? And that CJ Stroud was soft-benched for Davis Mills. I'm so sure that you're an expert on concussion symptoms and the recovery process that CJ Stroud is going to be. It's such fucking obviously engagement bait, man. I obviously have opinions and takes that are wrong all of the time, but I'm not walking around sharing things as advice. So when you're getting advice, just be careful where it's from, especially if the person has fantasy football in their handle somewhere, respectfully, of course.